Actually, I've got to be a little more honest than that. If I'm going to really get down to the nitty gritty, as they say, the nuts and bolts, the base platform nuts and bolts. So I'd have to go back to when I'm a little kid and say, when I did the last video about experiencing the eternal spirit of God's love, the eternal spirit of fire within my own heart and soul. Who are you? Right? Actually, the truth is, I already know. Really, yes. How is that? It's called map reading torque speed. That's how we know. It's an easy map read, which is a spin rate rotation of your Merkaba, or if you will, the software that you're running. That's immediate. God can read that. Okay? When you're connected to an eternal God, that is eternal spirit of fire, it's just automatic. See? So I realize why I'm here. Right? So that's why I've always said, keep your mouth shut and ear to the ground. Right? When it comes to capture, or another way to describe that would be assimilation. You know what assimilation means, right? Assimilated. Whatever you once were that you had memory of, if you're running on memory, so now we're into the difference between memory and no memory. Okay? An eternal God doesn't run on any memory. An eternal God is eternally gifting electrons and light, experiencing the purest of light, which is the eternal spirit of fire. That's how I knew as a little boy I'm not supposed to experience anything less than what that is wherever I go. That's called a benchmark. That's called a benchmark of our identity, knowing what we are and the relationship that we have with the eternal Son of God. So when you have a relationship with the eternal Son of God, there is no mistake in knowing what you've got a connection to. So you're experiencing what love is, on fire to create, which is on fire to learn. So now you're experiencing the highest accelerator. Well, that's right, because that's an eternal sun. Nothing's faster. Nothing runs faster in torque speed, so that's a torque converter, not an inverter. So that becomes an easy read in a fallen planetary system when you're reading a whole lot of inverters, because they're not experiencing God's love that we experience in us. And that's why, as a child, I was getting my intelligence, my creative intelligence, insulted everywhere I went. Right? By virtue of what I'm supposed to believe and the programs that I'm supposed to be running in order to be normal like them. That's called navigating through robot territory. Okay. Terminator, Rise of the Machines, order followers. There's only one law. That's what love is. That's it. So now when you're experiencing God's eternal spirit of fire, you're the highest law because you're the highest superconductor. You run at the highest speed because you're the most sensitive. You have the most sensitive feelings. So this is where the art of healing and the art of communication comes in. Using our heart and soul to heal. I'm old school. Because you realize that where we go and what we do, where we go, when we do it, doesn't have time for a lot of other things to be able to acquire. Particularly when you relate to being 4 years of age and not wanting to hold on to anything in memory. That would be for Karen McDonald. I don't want to hold anything in memory, which means I don't want to run any of those libraries in that Genius app that you run. Okay? Otherwise, I'm held captive to that. And I figure you know how that works. Okay? Because as long as I'm held captive to that, that is preventing me from experiencing something at a higher rate of speed, girl. We circulate libraries at a higher rate of speed to get rid of everything that we're held captive to in order to experience zero memory. What we're holding in memory, now we're back to polarity integration. What we're holding in memory related to the APIN system of programs. Who's writing the programs? Running somebody else's programs. Running your own programs. That's an eternal creation sphere template. Now you're manifesting in real time, which is real living light, which is living consciousness of God's spirit of fire, which goes on forever, gifting electrons. So you're using eternal speed, the acceleration of eternal acceleration of electrons and light to create what you experience next. That is happening so fast, being in and out, you don't notice any difference in speed. Because the frame rate read is so fast, you're not experiencing any time delay. That's how you know you're in a black hole system. Because something is slowing your speed down. Because it needs to load all the programs, load the codes. And that's why that technology, the laptops and all the rest of it, are all running on deadlight black hole technology. I know. I take no comfort in saying that, but I'm going to tell you the truth because of who I am and what I know based on what I've learned. So I simply share it with others because of what I experienced, because what I know through God's love that informs me, right? When you've got an eternal connection to God's love, when you light yourself on fire, you know who you're with. And that allows you to expose everything. And so we do. So I had to be very careful on what I expose and what I don't expose because of how sensitive I am to all your feelings. On the reaction state that's going to cause in others. Now we're back to map reads. Now we're back to what's held in memory. Now we're back to triggers of what's held in memory. Because what's held in memory is not running zero. Because what's held in memory has yet to be what? Erased. It's no longer held in memory. I'm no longer held captive to what I'm holding in memory. So I'm running memory-driven program apps. Memory-driven binary program apps by the 666 Beast technology, which is black hole technology, which is finite dead light. People are held captive to dead light systems. To run what? An information system. As their method of being informed of what's going on. Because I guess they lack another way in which to know something that's going on in now time, which is no clocks, and clocks and processors that exist in these phones, and your laptops, and your pen pads, and your desktop, and their system. Clock speeds. Clock speed processors. Processing visual information, mathematical data. Now we're into record keeping exercises between the Eka and the Akasha, right? And then we're into the founder records, the crystal CDT plates, right? The protectors of the original codes, the gate codes, crystal spiral codes, atom seed, the crystal spiral atom seed records, right? And you might want to look under the hood why the Anunnaki were very concerned about that. And why Ashayana said they hate us. That's what happens when a unit of energy, which is consciousness, falls into a trap. Because that's what a black hole is. It's a consciousness trap because that energy is going to be consumed in order to maintain a war against God's love. That's the truth of it. Have a great day. I love you all. Be good yourselves.